Well, robotaxi is already operating in China. So what we are doing with Pony is actually to learn how to commercialize the robotaxi in China. First in China and then eventually to other markets that we're operating in. The key driver of robotaxi, as you rightly pointed out, is to address the shortage of manpower, shortage of staff and drivers, particularly in some of the busy cities that we're in, but also to actually improve efficiencies of the ride. And that actually is useful in terms of from the sustainability angle, where we can actually improve the efficiency of the rides getting the passengers. You'll find that the number of rides that you can actually do on robotaxi is much higher compared to a manned taxi, for example.
SK, do you think robotaxis and automation is a model that will work over here in Singapore as well, or is it only really going to work in certain specific markets?
Well, if you look at the sandbox trials in China, for example, and China, when they say sandbox, it's not a small box, it's a very big box and very busy streets. They have proven themselves to be effective and they work very well in big cities. I think what we also need to bear in mind that it's not a 0 and 1 situation. It's not going to be binary. I think robotaxi will coexist with manned taxis, manned rideshare vehicles. But what we really want is to extract the efficiency to address shortfalls in periods where you find that there's going to be underserved area or underserved communities. That's what robotaxi becomes really effective and very useful.
And if this is the future, and it is, then how is ComfortDelGro positioning, and what are your spending plans, and how much capital are you deploying in this growth area?
So we have, the board has actually decided that we are prepared to invest $30 million US over the next couple of years to talk about how to actually grow this capability. But that's an AV excellence center that we talk about. So it's about investing in the technology, investing into sandbox trials like this that we're doing in China. But these are small steps that we're taking. So we're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to work with the regulators. We're going to work with the drivers. We're going to work with the unions to make sure that you have a good outcome overall for everybody. And it's also acceptance of the people riding the taxis, riding the robotaxis of this nature.
Yes, there's the infrastructure as well, which needs to be built up.
That's where the commercialization becomes, the trial that we do in China becomes very key. So right now, many of the trials that you have are smaller numbers, whether it is 10, 20, and even in the biggest trial that we've seen in a sample is like 500. But as you start moving up the scale, the issues associated with the commercialization, the issue related to infrastructure, as you mentioned, even the basic things like the cleaning, the charging, and so on and so forth, become something that we, as a fleet operator, we need to work with. And that's what we want to understand from actually working with Pony in China.